Tonight on 5 News, a huge change to the law on assisted dying could be on the horizon. MPs are to vote on the issue for the first time in almost a decade.
It would have allowed us as a family to talk openly about what he wanted to do and why, and to reach a level of closure and peace.
Also on the programme, the police officers sacked over this stop and search get their jobs back after winning an appeal. A new vaccine that could wipe out a deadly cancer. Should you be charged for leaving leftovers at an all-you-can-eat buffet? We're going to speak to the pub owner making customers pay extra for wasting food. And a tale with a very happy ending, the remarkable rescue of a dog trapped underground for 7 days.
From across the UK, this is 5 News.
Hi there, I'm Julian Drucker. Now, it is something you may have discussed with your loved ones. Well, now politicians are going to debate it too, assisted dying. Proposals to give terminally ill people in England and Wales the right to choose to end their life will be introduced in Parliament later this month. But it is a divisive issue, of course. While many have welcomed today's news, others worry about where it might lead. Catherine Nash has our top story tonight. Might find some of the details upsetting.
He lived a good life at the point while his body was still working.
Anil Douglas's dad, Ian, had multiple sclerosis, was in a wheelchair and in excruciating pain. He took his own life the day before his 60th birthday, something his family say he wouldn't have done had assisted dying been legal.
It would have allowed us as a family to talk openly about what he wanted to do and why, and to reach a level of closure and peace.
And you could have been there at the end?
We could have been there at the end. We could have been together. We could have held his hand, told him it was okay, and that we loved him. And instead, he died in a very lonely way, completely isolated and removed from the rest of us. And that is a terrible death to me.
But now, after a high-profile campaign to change the law in England and Wales, which has seen support from some well-known faces, including broadcaster Dame Esther Rantzen, who has lung cancer, proposals will be introduced in Parliament later this month.
I made a promise to Esther Rantzen before the election that we would provide time for a debate and a vote on assisted dying, that it would be a free vote, and obviously that opportunity has now arisen.
Elsewhere in the UK, the debate is already underway, like here on the Isle of Man, which voted through a third reading of the bill earlier this year, while in Scotland the legislation is currently being considered. But the conversation is controversial. Despite proposals coming with strict guidelines for who is eligible, terminally ill adults nearing the end of their lives, campaigners fighting against it cite serious concerns over safeguarding the vulnerable. Like Paul Carroll, who initially supported assisted dying after his mother was seriously unwell, but changed his mind after learning more about the legislation in other countries.
If the legislation is ultimately passed, the floodgates will open. Thousands of people will be applying and receiving assisted deaths per year, and the parameters controls will just disappear.
Campaigners like Anil say the assisted dying bill can be introduced safely. With the subject now on the table, both sides of the argument will be discussed by MPs. Catherine Nash, 5 News.
Well, lots of difficult issues there. If you need any support on some of those issues raised, you can contact the Samaritans. Their website is samaritans.org, or you can call the number at